we know so far. Jory.
David, this attack raising threat levels all around the world. This was actually the second attack on a member of Canada's military in public this week. And now, tonight, one soldier is left dead and much of Canada's capital is in lockdown. Shots ring out inside the halls of Canadian Parliament. A gunman who moments earlier had shot and killed a soldier standing guard a block away burst into the center of Canada's government, witnesses saying at least 30 shots were fired.
Thought it was dynamite or construction rather than anything else. Suddenly the security guards come rushing down the hallways. Usher is all out to the back of the Parliament buildings.
The shooter, identified as Michael Zahaf Bebo and described as a recent convert to Islam, he was shot and killed by Parliament's Sergeant-at-Arms. In the chaos, members holding their weekly caucus meetings barricaded the doors with stacked chairs. The Prime Minister rushed to a secret guarded location away from Parliament Hill. Members of Parliament tweeting as the shooting was going on. Kyle Seaback writing, horrific day on Parliament Hill. Shots fired inside center block during our caucus meeting. I'm safe, locked in an office, awaiting security.
Call for shots fired. One soldier has been hit.
As Canada's capital went on lockdown less than 400 yards away, paramedics tended to Canadian soldier Corporal Nathan Cirillo, who was shot at close range as he stood guard at Canada's Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
There was a man with a rifle shooting at a bunch of people. We heard 2 gunshots over by Wellington, and we saw a bunch of people running.
Cirillo later died at the hospital.
In the days to come, we will learn more about the terrorist and any accomplices he may have had. But this week's events are a grim reminder that Canada is not immune to the types of terrorist attacks we have seen elsewhere around the world.
All Canadian military bases were put on lockdown, as was the U.S. Embassy in Ottawa.
Obviously, we're all shaken by it, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we're standing side by side with Canada during this difficult time.
The White House says that President Obama has been briefed on the situation in full, and he has been in contact with Prime Minister Harper. Now, senior FBI and Homeland Security officials tell ABC News that they are closely monitoring this situation as well. We're live in the Satellite Center. Jory Rand, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Jory, thank you. And tonight a man is in custody after jumping over the White House fence. Witnesses say the man was captured by the Secret Service on the north lawn of the White House with the help of agency dogs. It's not known if the suspect was injured, but an ambulance is standing by and a stretcher was seen being taken out of the ambulance. The Secret Service has been under fire recently over White House security after an intruder got all the way into the East Room of the White House before he was stopped.
Tonight, new developments in the case of the Bell Gardens mayor shot and killed by his wife. The district attorney is trying to determine whether to pursue charges. The attorney for Livette Crespo, the mayor's wife, has claimed past abuse. New details from Eyewitness News reporter Miriam Hernandez.
According to the attorney of Livette Crespo, these photos reveal the secret side of a toxic marriage. Her black eye and split lip allegedly the result of a physical brawl between her and husband Daniel Crespo, the former mayor of Bell Gardens. Their relevance? Potentially, the photos could illustrate her assertion that she suffered from years of domestic abuse, a defense she would need to shield her from criminal charges. Livette Crespo admits she shot her husband of 28 years in their home last month. Sheriff's detectives said at the time it was a case of self-defense, that her 19-year-old son jumped in when Daniel Crespo started swinging. Her attorney, Eber Bayona, proclaimed from the start that Livette had long been suffering in silence.
I think the evidence will corroborate that she's been a victim of domestic violence for many years.
The brother of Daniel Crespo alleges that Livette also had a temper and wanted him dead. This week, William Crespo's attorney showed a text Daniel allegedly sent Livette in April saying, quote, "It better be the last time you threaten to shoot me in the head," unquote. The text also allegedly referred to eruptions of jealousy, Daniel Crespo allegedly seeing other women. The lead sheriff's detective tells Eyewitness News that investigators are looking into Daniel Crespo's social life among many other aspects of the case. He says, however, that these photos released by the attorney today are something entirely new, that neither Livette nor her attorney provided them to detectives, even as Livette tries to prove her innocence. The investigators' questions tonight: what's the story behind the photos, and can the time and date they were taken be verified? Miriam Hernandez, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, we're going to take you to breaking news in Anaheim. A tragic story here. We're getting reports that a little girl has been shot. Some reports say the girl is as young as 7 years old. We don't know the circumstances behind the shooting. Maybe it was accidental. Maybe it was intentional. We believe that it was a possible male suspect that he's being searched for at this point. We don't have an update on whether they were able to find him. The girl has been transported to the hospital. That's all we know right now. This happened at the 2300 block of West Green Acre Avenue. Multiple 911 calls came in about this shooting. We're trying to get more information, and as soon as we do, we'll bring it to you.
Also at 8, LAPD Chief Charlie Beck has fired a veteran detective over racially charged remarks. In 1997, Frank Liga shot and killed fellow officer Kevin Gaines in what was described as a traffic dispute. He talked about it during a speech to the LAPD Academy last November and was secretly recorded.
He's alone in the truck at the time. Figure that one out. You know, they didn't hear that? Alone in the truck at the time. I could have killed a whole truckload of them.
During that same speech, Liga also made racial comments about LAPD Captain Lilia Carranza. In a letter to LAPD investigators, Liga said he deeply regretted his poor judgment. He says there's no excuse for what he did, but he learned valuable lessons.
Las Vegas Metro Police are investigating a report that accuses Clippers star Blake Griffin in an altercation at a casino nightclub. The alleged incident happened Sunday at the Venetian's Town nightclub. Police say a man claims he was attacked by Griffin during an argument over a photo taken at the club. No arrest was made. The man filed a report with police, who will now assign the case to a detective. The outcome of the investigation will determine whether charges are going to be filed against Griffin. The Clippers were in Las Vegas after playing an exhibition game, and we'll hear from Clippers head coach Doc Rivers ahead in sports.
In court today, a nanny accused of abusing a toddler in her care. The alleged abuse was caught on a nanny cam. Eyewitness News Inland Bureau Chief Rob McMillan has details from San Bernardino, plus reaction from the child's family.
Can we talk to you about the charges? No comment.
Gina Halliburton is the nanny accused of child abuse in Redlands, and it all started because of a nanny camera. Halliburton seen allegedly stuffing a bib into the mouth of a 22-month-old boy because he wouldn't eat the kinds of foods that she wanted him to.
I'm very mad. Have been from day one. I mean, it's just appalling conduct, in my opinion, and hopefully she'll be brought to justice.
Richard Scott is the baby's grandfather. He was at the hearing today for Halliburton. He expressed frustration over some comments that Halliburton allegedly made on her Facebook page about what happened.
They are essentially, Gina, almost gloating about what she did to Preston on several occasions, you know, and sharing it with their Facebook friends.
But this isn't the only case of alleged abuse by a nanny going on right now. Check out this video from a camera installed inside a home in Fontana showing a nanny allegedly shaking a one-year-old girl as three siblings looked on. The two cases are similar because both times it was apparently video caught on a nanny camera that led the families to call police.
Having a nanny cam is almost a necessity these days. You know, this nanny was hired from a firm and allegedly pre-screened, and we had no idea whatsoever. She had been the nanny for almost a year, and they decided to get a nanny cam, and the very day that they installed it, they found this abuse occurring.
Rob McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Very unsettling video. Gina Halliburton is due back in court on December 2nd. If convicted, she could get a maximum of 6 years in prison. As for the case involving nanny Dana Cash, no arraignment date has been set.
A Palmdale school teacher arrested for alleged sexual abuse against a special needs student. Aaron Alvidrez was employed as a long-term sub at Highland High School. He was arrested today after the male student came forward with allegations of repeated abuse. Investigators say some of the alleged incidents happened inside the school. And a former teacher at Notre Dame Academy in West LA was arrested today for alleged abuse against one of her students. Elizabeth Brewer is accused of molesting a girl at the private school between 2005 and 2007. She is also facing multiple felony counts.
Now to the latest on the Ebola crisis. The CDC is placing new regulations on travelers entering the U.S. from West Africa. Travelers from Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone will now be monitored for 21 days. They'll be given thermometers and required to take their temperature twice a day. Several passengers were evacuated overnight from flights at Newark and O'Hare and quarantined until they were cleared for Ebola. An American journalist who contracted the virus in Liberia has recovered and is heading home from a Nebraska hospital. And the first Texas nurse infected after treating the Ebola patient who died has been upgraded to good condition.
Caltrans is reviewing a federal case involving safety questions about highway guardrails. As we reported this week, a jury in Texas found that Trinity Industries defrauded the government by failing to disclose changes made in its guardrail design. Yesterday, following the verdict, the government demanded that Trinity perform new crash tests on the rails. At least a dozen families blame these guardrails for serious accidents, including this one in San Bernardino County. Last month, Caltrans told Eyewitness News it did not have cause for concern, but today it told us it will, quote, continue to monitor this issue closely.
Now to our first look at the forecast. Meteorologist Jonathan Novak standing by. Jonathan, a little bit warmer today.
Yeah, I know you were not digging the warm temperatures in the forecast. We've got hot stuff even for tomorrow and the next day. Colleen, David, folks, today's highs, Riverside 94. Normally, you're about 80 degrees this time of year. Woodland Hills 92, 83 in Apple Valley. It was a warm to hot day. 70 in Long Beach as it leads to a warm night tonight. 73 Santa Clarita, 78 in Van Nuys. Good evening to you, and 82 in Palm Springs. So tomorrow morning, we'll wake you up to lower 60s, actually right about average, or maybe a little bit above. We're at 71, though, already by 9 a.m. Beautiful morning. Hardly a cloud, except maybe at the coast for a few hours, sunrise. And then by noontime, we're at 81. We're getting warmer temperatures. Tomorrow will be even warmer than they were today. I'll tell you when that, well, it's not really a heat wave, but when the warmer weather will come to a wrap, coming up in that 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
All right, Jonathan, we'll see you in a few.
Okay,
up next, Universal Studios backlash, disturbing allegations against a worker at one of the area's most popular Halloween attractions. What two families say, he yelled at two 13-year-old girls.
Plus, bear cub in aisle 6, where this surprise visitor had customers trying to get the best view.
And superheroes clash on Hollywood Boulevard. See which character stepped in to stop the violence. What was meant to be a night of Halloween fun was anything but for some teens at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. They now want an apology for what they were called. And as Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia shows us, it was all caught on tape.
Oh, I don't know what you are, but you're a bunch of whores, that's for sure. Oh, not you, honey, the girl.
13-year-old Roxy Fisher shot this cell phone video. She, along with her 13-year-old friend Kayla Beals, went to Universal Studios Halloween Horror Night September 26th to have some fun. But instead, they say they felt embarrassed by what one of the park's characters said.
I was mostly shocked because I didn't think that could happen. And I think later I really understood that was not okay, and it made me once again very uncomfortable. And that's not what you want to feel when you go to an amusement park. It worried me a little because there were lots of people from our school there, and maybe they could have heard it and spread something around the school that we were those things, but we're not.
The girls' mothers say they called the park asking to meet with management. They say a guest relations employee told them to buy a ticket so they could come in to talk to management. But they were also informed the park was sold out that day. 3.5 weeks later, the mothers and their daughters are now represented by attorney Gloria Allred. They say they're not taking any legal action.
I want an apology to them, and I wanted an apology to me. And I really would like to talk to that woman as well and just ask her what was she thinking. I would like them to have a conversation with all of my clients and have a meeting with them face to face, because I think it's important for them to hear directly from these 13-year-old girls and their moms.
Sid Garcia, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
In a statement to Eyewitness News, Universal Studios said, quote, "We take these issues very seriously and are looking into them. This conduct does not reflect our values or our guest communication guidelines, and we are reaching out to those involved and will deal with the situation appropriately."
Really cute story here, but at the same time a little bit sad. A hungry bear cub crashes an Oregon pharmacy looking for a bite, and it's all caught on camera. It startled shoppers. They shot this video of the fuzzy little cub roaming the aisles of a Rite Aid. The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife say the month-old cub got separated from his mom. Police finally caught the 13-pound female with a laundry basket. It's basically no bigger than a small dog. She was taken to a wildlife center and will be kept for a year before being released back into the wild. But the bottom line is the poor thing is never going to see its mother again.
That is very, very
really
sad. Poor little thing.
Yeah.
Oh, they're hungry and it's hot. I mean, we're dealing with it here with the bears are coming down from the mountains.
And we've got 90-degree temperatures tomorrow. 90 expected in the valley areas, and in some spots going to warm up probably around 92 degrees. Today, it wasn't really cool. It was still warm, even though it's not going to be as hot as tomorrow will be. We had temperatures in LA around 83, 84 degrees. And we had some nice time lapses along with it, so let's check out one right now as we look out over our Malibu time lapse. I believe we are. Oh, no, we're not. We're actually going to some video. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, here we go first. My God, imagine being in an elevator, my friends. I found this video, really wanted to show you. That sounds pretty interesting. They opened this door up, these elevator riders, and a brick wall was there. This is in China. The elevator broke. The car ended up right there in between floors, and they had to bust through. Thankfully, one of the passengers was a workman who had a hammer with him. They started chipping away at the bricks. They managed to make a hole big enough to squeeze through, and they, got the elevator moving again. Everybody was happy, and of course, we have it all on camera right there for you. There we go. Also on camera, Malibu time lapse. I don't know which is better. That video is interesting, and so is this Malibu time lapse. All right, okay. And temperatures today were above average. We were at 84 in downtown. 78's our normal. 60 was our low as expected, and 58's our normal. So temperatures above average. Once again tomorrow, we've got another hot day ahead. Temperatures right now in downtown are 70 degrees. It's a wonderful night. 67 Palmdale. Good evening to you. 78 Van Nuys. And let's head over to Riverside, where it's 69 degrees. Also in Temecula, 71 at the coast around Oxnard to Santa Monica and Long Beach, which is at 70 degrees. I love this map because this map shows you where we were last night compared to tonight. It shows the change. And we're about 5 to 7 degrees warmer tonight than we were at this hour last evening in many spots like Ontario, Van Nuys, Victorville, even Big Bear, over to Burbank, 4 degrees warmer. So the warm-up is here, and as we go through tomorrow and into Friday, even warmer still. Off the East Coast, 2 to 4 plus inches as this front rolls through the northeast and through New England. Maine still looking at flood watches right now and the potential of another inch of rain over the next 24 hours. So that system finally going to be pulling out in a day. But for us, it's high pressure that's in control. You see right here, this arc in the clouds, that is high pressure, keeping the dry air in place, keeping the warm air in place, probably more importantly, and the rain at bay up to the north. We don't expect rain in our forecast, but we will see a cool down, of course, as we go through into the weekend. So here you go, Wednesday. The future scan shows the pattern persists. This is Thursday into Friday. Watch this arc right here in the atmosphere. That's the high pressure ridge. We're going to Friday. It's still there, although it starts nudging to the east by late Friday because of this trough of low pressure, which means a cool down for the weekend. In fact, it's going to be a big drop in temperatures between Friday into Saturday. So 2 days of warm, hot weather, and then we start seeing cooler stuff big time for the weekend. 84 tomorrow in Los Angeles, around 90 to 93 in the IE, and then 86 in Irvine, 76 from Dana Point down at Oceanside, where it'll be 75 degrees. 70 forecast, LA Metro and Orange County, powered up by AccuWeather. 83, 84 next couple days. This is LA. And Saturday and Sunday, we're dropping almost about 10 degrees to 12 degrees or so between Saturday and Sunday, and clouds in the morning and afternoon sun. It's not really a big warm-up at all in store after that. So the next 2 days are going to be the hottest days of the forecast. Valley's IE, 90, 90 Thursday and Friday. And then the weekend, we're dropping down back into the 70s. Big cool down. Temperatures in the morning will be in the mid-50s. The mountains, your lows are in the 30s until you hit Monday morning. So you got a couple of really nice days in the afternoon around 70. The weekend looking very cool. Sunday afternoon is 58, 28 by Monday morning. And then the high desert looking fantastic. Mid-80s for a couple of days before you cool down to 71 by Sunday. That's your forecast. We'll have another look coming in a few minutes.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. A bizarre scene on Hollywood Boulevard when a scuffle broke out between a bunch of costume characters. Batgirl takes on Mr. Incredible with Chewbacca and Freddy Krueger and Waldo getting into the mix. It may sound like a really bad movie pitch, but this was actually seen on Hollywood Walk of Fame yesterday. The video was caught by Filmin.com. Eyewitness News spoke with a few of the characters who helped break up the brawl. They say the fight may have started because they all compete for tips from tourists.
My animal brain kicked in. I had to protect the girl, so I just went in and I did what I had to do.
He called Catwoman some words I can't say on TV, you know, so that was probably what was part of it.
It's like a terrible image for the whole Hollywood community.
It gives us all a bad name.
Police say no criminal report was filed and no one has been arrested. Officers are reviewing the video to determine a course of action.
A wish come true for a young football fan. Up next, how this cancer patient is set to embark on a trip to meet his NFL hero.
And later, former jail inmates filed suit against the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. Their claims about discrimination at the jail because of their sexual orientation.
All right, we want to update a couple of breaking news stories going on right now. This one in South Los Angeles. This is what happened at 7:12 this evening. Apparently an ice cream truck hit a little boy, a 7-year-old boy, while he was on his bicycle. That little boy was badly injured, said to be in critical condition, was taken to UCLA Medical Center. In the meantime, apparently the driver of the truck was then pulled out of the truck and attacked by some of the people in the neighborhood. We don't know the condition of the ice cream truck driver, but that's what this investigation is that you're looking at now. We don't want to push in too closely because it is a gruesome scene. In the meantime, while you look at these pictures, an odd and sad irony in Anaheim at 7:15 this evening, a 7-year-old girl. Keep in mind here in South LA was a 7-year-old boy. At 7:15, a 7-year-old girl was shot. We don't know the circumstances of that shooting. The girl is said to have died. The search continues for the gunman. So two very sad breaking news stories going on right now. They hit almost at the exact same time, both involving 7-year-old children. We'll keep you updated.
Oh, and we are also updating the evening's top stories next here at 8:30, including an update on today's deadly Parliament shooting in Ottawa, Canada. Was an ISIS sympathizer behind the attack? New information up next. Plus, a former surfer is championing a campaign to make sure others don't suffer injuries like he did.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 8:30, gunfire erupts at the Canadian capital tonight. A soldier and the shooter are dead. I'm Colleen Sullivan.
I'm David Dona. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Lawmakers barricaded themselves in meeting rooms as that gunman stormed the Parliament building. Officials say 32-year-old Michael Zehaf Bebo pulled a scarf over his face and killed the soldier at Canada's War Memorial before opening fire on Parliament. He was then shot and killed by the sergeant-at-arms. The motive behind the attack is unclear, but Canada's Prime Minister says it will not be intimidated. President Obama called the shooting outrageous.
And the big question this evening, was that shooting suspect connected to ISIS? As ABC's Brian Ross reports tonight, Canadian and U.S. officials are searching for any clues about him, going through travel records, criminal records, and known jihadi message sites.
Just 2 days ago, one of those 90 Canadians who boasted of his ties to ISIS and had had his passport revoked was shot dead in Quebec after he used his car to run down 2 Canadian soldiers in uniform, killing one of them.
What took place yesterday is clearly linked to a terrorist ideology.
Authorities say so many Canadians have gone to Syria to join ISIS that they have even created their own recruitment videos with iconic Canadian scenes.
Before Islam, I was like any other regular Canadian. I watched hockey.
Canadians have been seen burning their passports and carrying out brutal murders. And the internet has been full of ISIS propaganda videos with calls to kill Canadians, along with other allies of the United States, using whatever weapons are available. Said one leader, kill him in any manner or way, however it may be.
The dangerous part of this is when you see one attack, it tends to crop up several others.
So more in Canada might be expected?
I would not be surprised at all if there are more in Canada and across the West in general.
And a new bulletin from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, obtained by ABC News, warns that with increasing efforts to stop sympathizers from traveling to join ISIS in Syria, more such low-tech attacks at home can only be expected. Brian Ross, ABC News, New York.
And you can follow the latest developments in the shooting investigation with the free ABC7 app. Download it from the iTunes App Store, Google Play, or Amazon.
A loud but peaceful protest in downtown L.A. as demonstrators take to the streets against police brutality. About 150 people turned out for a march and rally in downtown L.A., many of whom had lost loved ones in police-involved shootings. Their message was more police accountability, which the LAPD says it hears loud and clear.
There needs to be more police accountability, body cameras, civilian review boards. People need to have a say in how these cops operate.
We recognize that we have a process in place where these shootings are investigated and they're reviewed by the civilian board of police commissioners and by the inspector general and by the district attorney's office.
No arrests were made today. Protesters say that they just want their message to be heard.
A new lawsuit claims discrimination by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's, specifically at the West Valley Detention Center in Rancho Cucamonga, where some inmates allege mistreatment based on sexual orientation and identity. Eyewitness News reporter Robert O'Gean has the story.
Dan McKibben says he endured verbal abuse and discrimination at the hands of his jailers during the 44 days he spent at this detention center in Rancho Cucamonga. And he says it was all because of his sexual orientation.
They address us, talk to us like we're less than human.
Kibben is one of 15 former and current inmates at the West Valley Detention Center who are suing San Bernardino County in federal court. They allege their constitutional rights to equal protection were violated during their incarceration.
We're treated entirely differently. There's more attention paid to us when nothing is happening, when on the other side of the general population there's fights breaking out.
The class action lawsuit filed today by the ACLU of Southern California also alleges that gay or bisexual inmates who are kept apart from the jail's general population are denied access to services and rehabilitation programs.
I want to see a change.
Peter Guzman spent 7 months in the jail's alternative lifestyle housing unit.
Because I identify myself as being gay, they put you in the cell, you stay in the cell for 23 hours of the day, and that is it. You can't work, you can't do nothing, because they say it's for your safety. When in reality, it's not even a safety, it's more of a punishment.
Once you segregate them, you need to provide them with the same programs and the same time out of their cells and the same rehabilitation opportunities as straight inmates.
In general, gay or transgender inmates are often kept in separate areas to protect them from abuse by other inmates. But the ACLU alleges that West Valley's policies are retaliatory.
And what we've seen is a pattern in practice by jail officials to intentionally discriminate against gay inmates.
The lawsuit was filed this morning and seeks to change the jail's policies. A spokeswoman for San Bernardino County says the county has not been served with the legal paperwork and the county had no comment on the allegations made in the lawsuit. Robert Olguin, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A shooting at a mall in Orange County, but it's only a drill. First responders held an active shooter drill this morning at the Westfield Main Place Mall in Santa Ana. The scenario, a gunman is in the mall and has shot some shoppers. In the simulation, the shooter makes a run for it and is followed by officers with their guns drawn. The drill gave authorities a chance to see how quickly they can respond to an emergency and get the victims out safely.
The U.S. Marine accused of killing a transgender Filipino has been moved from his U.S. ship to a camp in the Philippines. Marine Private First Class Joseph Pemberton was flown from his ship northwest of Manila to the Philippine military's main camp, where he'll continue to be guarded by fellow Marines. The transfer was agreed upon by the U.S. and the Philippines as Pemberton remains in U.S. custody. He's suspected of killing 26-year-old Jennifer Laud, whose former name was Jeffrey. Police say he met Laud in a bar, then killed her after discovering she was transgender. Her body was found in a motel bathroom earlier this month. Police say she was drowned in the toilet.
One driver is dead after a horrific wrong-way crash on the 15 freeway in Rancho Cucamonga. Tonight, evidence suggests it might have been deliberate. It happened on the northbound 15 about 5:20 this morning when police say a silver Prius entered the freeway at baseline going in the wrong direction. Almost immediately, the car slammed head-on into a big rig, killing the driver on impact. The truck driver was not injured, although his cab was engulfed in flames. He told investigators that the driver turned off his headlamp lights when he entered the freeway.
A surfer who broke his neck 2 years ago in Huntington Beach is back in Orange County supporting a project he says saved his own life. Orange County Bureau Chief Eileen Frere tells us all about Project Wipeout.
I was literally a millimeter away from severing my spinal column.
Andrew Meredith looks at x-rays taken 2 years ago. The day his life literally flipped upside down. The then 21-year-old visiting Huntington Beach, body surfing with friends.
It was very quick. When the wave shot me down, I did a head plant, basically. My head hit the ground. I heard a huge pop.
Meredith, holding his neck in place, made it to Tower 7, where he told lifeguards what happened.
And within a couple of minutes, we told Andrew, this is a very big emergency. We need to get you to the hospital as quickly as possible.
Lifeguards knew exactly what to do.
The lifeguard is behind him and holding his neck and his head completely in line with the rest of his body.
Andrew just was millimeters away from being quadriplegic.
What I broke was the C1. And I also broke the T2 and T3.
Meredith wore a halo and neck brace for several months, then underwent physical therapy.
I am extremely grateful.
Meredith's successful recovery credited to Hoag Hospital's Project Wipeout program that teaches first responders and swimmers what to do to try to prevent spinal cord damage.
The secret is prevention.
Project Wipeout celebrating its 35th anniversary, providing simple tips such as don't fight a rip current, swim parallel to shore until free of the current. Also, don't dive head first into the ocean.
I had one arm in front of me. Really, you're supposed to have two arms. That's the safest way to do it.
After about 5 or 6 years of the educational program, we noticed that there were less neck fractures from surfing.
Meredith supporting Project Wipeout, wishing as an amateur body surfer he had taken time to learn about ocean safety. In Newport Beach, Eileen Frere, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, we need to update two really tragic breaking news stories that both happened almost at the exact same time. First of all, we bring you to South LA. That, you could see, is an ice cream truck. It was involved in an accident with a little boy on a bicycle. That 7-year-old boy is said to be in grave condition, critically injured, and sent to the hospital. But soon after this accident, apparently the driver was then attacked by residents in the neighborhood. He also is being transported to the hospital. We don't know of his condition. We don't know the circumstances behind this accident either. The investigation is now underway. And now we take you to a videotape of Anaheim, where the second tragedy happened just a minute later, where there was a shooting. A little 7-year-old girl was shot. She was somewhere on the side of a sidewalk. We don't know the circumstances of the shooting. We understand, though, that we believe they are looking for a male suspect. As far as we know, he has not been found, but the little girl has died. She was quickly transported to the hospital but did not survive her wounds. Both these happening around 7:12 to 7:15 this evening. Two 7-year-olds, a boy and a girl. One killed, the other in grave condition. We'll keep you posted.
Oh, very sad. Also coming up ahead, surprising health news, including why you might be eating more foods with trans fats than you think.
And you're afraid of the dark? What's your biggest fear? The top 5 fears coming up.
Meteorologist Jonathan Novak here. A beautiful day, beautiful time lapse here. Big Bear as the sun went down over a warmer afternoon. Even warmer temperatures ahead for tomorrow. Details, stick around for it.
Have you gotten rid of foods that contain trans fats? Some new research says you may have to think again. A study at the University of Minnesota looked at nearly 13,000 people over 3 decades. During that time, the amount of trans fat in people's meals decreased a lot, but not enough. On average, participants still ate about twice the amount of trans fats recommended by the American Heart Association. Trans fats boost your bad cholesterol. They hide in foods like donuts, pies, and some cookies, but you'll also find them in frozen meals. So read the label. If you see partially hydrogenated oils listed in the ingredients, steer clear. And sugary drinks may do more than just rot your teeth. They may boost your risk for diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. And they may also age you. Scientists at UC San Francisco found a link between daily soda consumption and shorter telomeres. Those are the cells parts that naturally shrink with age, but too much sugar can speed up the process. To put it into perspective, that's about 4.5 years of extra aging.
Boy, you were just filled with good news.
I
in that
know,
whole
right?
segment. Halloween is a time when many of us try to stare our fears in the face, whether it be monsters, ghosts, or something more real in our everyday lives, like a co-anchor. Eyewitness News reporter John Gregory has results of a study on our modern society's biggest fears.
Everybody's afraid of something, but what's the one thing most of us fear? According to Chapman University, which released this video with their study, it's something as simple as walking alone in the dark.
The cars, they don't see you. You look at the car and they're on the phone texting, and it's pretty hazardous out there.
We see you walking down the street. It's dark out there. No concerns?
As I said before, I think I'm not concerned. My family worries occasionally about it, yeah.
Another fear tops on many minds is identity theft.
One of the people that actually stole my wallet, he used my identification, and he got into trouble with law, and the burden is up on me now to basically clear up my record.
Someone stole it 5 years ago, and I'm still going through stuff. I can't get a car, can't purchase anything.
One fear a lot of people have is speaking in public. While it's not tops on the list, it made the top 5.
I don't know, you just get really nervous, you get that heat rush, everybody's looking at you, so I would have to say public speaking.
Here's a look at the top 5. Walking alone at night, becoming a victim of identity theft, safety on the internet, being the victim of a mass shooting, and finally, public speaking. The Chapman study featured 1,500 people across the country. One glaring message from the results for researchers is that the violent crime fears don't match the drop in crimes being reported.
The drop in crime rates over the last 20 years is one of the great miracles of public policy, and Americans are virtually unaware of it.
The study blames that disparity in part on the amount of education study participants had, and also the amount of television they watched. In Van Nuys, John Gregory, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good thinker. Well, meteorologist Jonathan Novak looks ahead to the weekend next.
Plus in sports, Clippers coach Doc Rivers reacts to assault allegations against superstar Blake Griffin. In Mexico, hundreds of clowns coming together for a gut-busting good time. And more than 500 clowns from across Latin America took part in a massive laugh session in Mexico City today to promote world peace. We're not sure if they all arrived in the same car, but their goal was to laugh nonstop for 15 minutes. That would be a record. They fell just short of that goal, but still hope it lights up the spirits of kids around the world.
Well, you can't help but laugh when you look at that. That's great.
Yeah, a lot of people going like this. Ah, yes. So they spray with the water from the flower thing. No.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Well, you took the clown car thing. That was mine.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. So speaking of clowns, let me get to my weather forecast. We've got temperatures on the rise, folks, the next few days. And if you thought today was hot, tomorrow and Friday will be even hotter. But we've got rain up to the north of us. Some portions of our state, at least, are getting some shower activity, and that's a plus. Not directly for us, but we obviously are still in that drought that we've talked about all year. Hey, we're hoping this winter that we change that. But 1-2 inches of rain possible from Redding up north, even by Oregon and up toward Washington State, 2 to 4 inches possible with that system that's rolling up through the Pacific Northwest. Will it affect us? No, we have high pressure that is stuck right over us. Marine layer tonight, really non-existent. I just looked, and everybody just about has clear skies right now, and you see hardly a cloud out there on the latest imagery. So a nice night. It's going to be clear and somewhat cool, 78 degrees right now in Van Nuys. Calm winds, very nice at the coast. LAX 69 degrees with a light breeze out of the west at 6 miles an hour. Other temperatures around the area are pretty much along those lines, very mild, 73 in Burbank, 67 in Palmdale, 71 in Oxnard, and good evening, Santa Barbara. It is 67 right now where you are. So temperatures are going to be dropping down right about average where they should be for overnight lows, but tomorrow afternoon warming up way above average. Why? Well, we've got a big ridge of high pressure. You see this arc right here in the atmosphere? It's not a huge pronounced arc, but it will get stronger over the next 2 days. That's the high pressure area. Now we go through Friday and into Saturday. Overnight, we'll start seeing the next system come through our area, and that's going to actually cool us down big time for the weekend. So we have pretty much a very big warm-up compared to where we should be for this time of year, and then a big cool-down for Saturday and Sunday. I want to show you the future rainfall to show you what we won't have. The rain's going to stay to the north Thursday. See this right here? That's that high-pressure ridge is keeping all the cloud cover and all the rain up to the north. That's Friday. But by Saturday, we see a front with the next system get close to us. Will we get rain from the front? No, but the clouds will creep in, and we'll see that morning cloud cover, afternoon sunshine for Saturday and Sunday, and much cooler temperatures. So tomorrow, again, very warm, 84 in Los Angeles, 93 Riverside, 96 Palm Springs, Lake Elsinore, 92 and 88 Mission Viejo, Wrightwood. 68 for you tomorrow afternoon. All right, 7-day forecast, LA Metro, Orange County, powered up by AccuWeather, mid to upper 80s tomorrow and Friday, and then we are dropping down Saturday to 77, and then look at Sunday, 72 with lows around 59 degrees, and then the rest of the week, next week, at least the first half, temperatures are below average. So Valley's IE following suit, 90 to 92 tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, and Saturday and Sunday, a big drop, 10 to 12 degrees for a drop from Friday to Saturday, and then even colder on Sunday with lows in the mid-50s in the mountains. You're going to be nice and mild for a couple days before temperatures drop down into the 50s for highs on Sunday. Kind of a cool weekend for you. The high desert looking nice for 2 days before things get breezy and cold there on Sunday, only a high of 71. All right, that's it for me. Dallas has more at 11 on ABC7.
Jonathan, thank you. Looking to rebound after losing home field advantage, Kansas City broke open a 2-2 tie in the 6th inning, going off for 5 runs in the frame to beat San Francisco. The Royals tied the series now at 1, winning 7-2 at the Fall Classic. It moves to the Bay Area now. Full highlights on Eyewitness News at 11 p.m. on KABC. And as we stated in earlier broadcasts, Las Vegas police have opened an investigation into Clipper star Blake Griffin for an alleged assault claim. The superstar was not arrested in the incident, and the Clippers have not taken any action. Before tonight's game against Phoenix, Clips head coach Doc Rivers lent his support to his star player.
It shouldn't be, you know. Obviously, I don't know enough about it. It's an ongoing investigation, so I don't have a lot to say about it. I trust Blake 100%. He's a great kid, and we'll figure it out and get through it. It's not to that point yet, but everybody's in contact with everybody in this day and time, you know, security, police, everything. Everybody's always in contact. Of course they are.
Byron Scott holding out Kobe Bryant for the final 2 preseason games. Jeremy Lin having another big impact for the purple and gold off the bench, leading the team with 7 points in just 10 minutes of action. Lakers defense showing up. Off the steal, Ronnie Price leading the break, goes behind the back to Wes Johnson for the two-hander. Lakers lead 50-37 at the break. We're going to have full highlights in Eyewitness News at 11 p.m. The Redondo police have handed over their case against Kings defenseman Slava Voinov to the district attorney's office. And this comes as attorneys for Voinov say a language barrier may have played a role in a misunderstanding during the interview at the hospital and that he never hit his girlfriend. Voinov is due in a Torrance court on December 1st. Serena Williams may be the #1 ranked tennis player in the world, but that apparently didn't impress Romanian Simona Halep today. In one of the most lopsided losses of her career, Serena won only 9 points in the entire first set, and she was humbled by Halep 6-love, 6-2 in the WTA finals in Singapore. It's the lowest amount of games Serena has won since 1998.
More news straight ahead here at 8:30 and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. We will have more on the deadly shooting in Anaheim. A 7-year-old girl walking on a sidewalk is shot and her killer is still on the loose. Plus, a Tony Award-winning play brings its magic to the Pantages. We are there for opening night of Pippin. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. A special moment today for a 12-year-old boy battling bone cancer. The Make-A-Wish Foundation today threw a surprise party for Tyler Thompson. He's a New England Patriots fan and says his dream is to meet quarterback Tom Brady. Today, right after school, he found out Make-A-Wish is sending him and his family to Massachusetts this weekend to meet the Patriots and go to a game. Tyler says he's grateful for the support he's gotten during his 10-month battle.
The best to him. And thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is coming up next here on LA56.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. And remember, you can get your news 24 hours a day by following us on Facebook and Twitter and downloading our ABC7 app. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.